What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, I really wasn't gonna do this, but I did get a couple inbox questions about if I was going to do a Klitschko post fight. And I'm not gonna really do a post fight, but I will talk about the fight. I will talk about Klitschko and some other observations in the fight. Um, to be perfectly frank, I was drinking when I watched it. I had worked a long, hard day, and I was drinking, and it killed my buzz. Like in the words of Kendrick, bitch, don't kill my vibe. It killed my vibe. Like after a long, just picture me, long day at work, come home, I'm eating some pizza, I'm drinking, sipping, and I'm like, cool, a heavyweight fight. Keep in mind, I grew up on the Mike Tysons of the world, the Ray Mercers, and seen Tommy Morrison's, and rest in peace to Tommy Morrison. Um, just the people that they had, the Shannon Briggs, David Tua with the crazy knockout power, um, Lennox Lewis's, like I can go on, Evander Holyfield. I could do this all day. So keep all of that in mind. Store that for the end of this story. So long day, kick the shoes off, take a shower, eat my pizza. I'm drinking, I'm sipping. And then I watched that fucking fight. And you know what? The whole fight was like a joke. It was I don't even see how you even had a training camp for this particular fight. You know what I mean? Like you had to train to do that. It was just bad. Everything was about it was bad. Let's talk about Povetkin. As far as Povetkin, he was definitely overrated. These heavyweights nowadays are nothing like the throwback heavyweights, and it's very upsetting and very saddening. As far as Povetkin, he is a fighter who's smaller than Wladimir, but he's also a grown man in a heavyweight, and he was supposed to have power. He kind of allowed a lot of this stuff to actually unfold and happen and transpire, and he didn't really retaliate. And I don't understand when these fighters get in the ring, if the ref is not giving you the calls you want, i.e., Chavez Jr. versus Brian Vera. Chavez Jr. was complaining repeatedly to the ref. Andre Berto versus Robert Guerrero. Berto was repeatedly complaining to the ref. And Amir Khan versus Lamont Peterson, complaining to the ref. Amir Khan was saying, hey, he's doing this and that. Fuck it. At the end of the day, if the ref isn't giving you what you want, the calls you want, put your dukes up and fight. Just let the hands go. And realistically, there's no one else to blame. If you're not getting the ref calls, even if it's egregious and everything, it was egregious. Like it was very excessive. Like if you look at fighters like Miguel Cotto, Floyd Mayweather, Bernard Hopkins, all of them at times have done dirty things in the sport of boxing. Now, do I think they're dirty fighters? No, I think they're skilled fighters. I think they have a skill set. But however, as a veteran, there are certain little things you do or know to do to your opponent to give you any advantage that you can. Mayweather, one of the tactics that he uses is sometimes he pushes off and uses his elbow. Bernard Hopkins, kind of the same thing. Timothy Bradley even. Sometimes Timothy Bradley comes in with his head. Not like he's trying to headbutt you or anything like that, but he figures like, damn, I got a big dome, a hard head. If I come in reckless and we end up butting heads, he'll probably get the worst of it. And I'm going to come in like that. And I'm not going to make any adjustments. I'm just going to come in. If I hit you, then fuck it. Miguel Cotto, the low blows with the Zab Judah. I mean, it got excessive. But at the same time, these are kind of veteran tricks and veteran tactics, tricks of the trade that these fighters do. However, there's certain things that you do, but you're not supposed to make it look so flagrant, so apparent that anybody can see exactly what you're doing. Now, there's a couple sneaky Wladimir tricks that he did, like in clinches, he was like throwing like uppercuts and just weird things, random things. But a lot of it was just very outright, like, fuck it. I don't care if I'm 6'6" and the ref sees me doing this. Like the knockdowns, I don't even know how many knockdowns were actual I knocked you down. Watch Lennox Lewis versus Tommy Morrison. Those are actual knockdowns. Tommy Morrison looked like his legs weren't there, and these are punches like boom. I punch you, the punch connects, you fall down. Vladimir it was different. It was like I hit you, you might be buzzed, your equilibrium's off, then I'm gonna throw you the rest of the way down. Completely different. I thought the fight was boring. I really wanted to see this fight. I also wanted to see David Haye and Tyson Fury, and for some reason, I felt if that fight took place, it wouldn't have been a stink fest like the Vladimir and Povetkin fight. Overall, it just wasn't entertaining to me, because I don't even know how Vladimir has been dominant for 9 years. I mean, I kind of do. I mean, the motherfucker's big, he's huge, and it's hard to beat a guy with that kind of arm length and reach, and all he has to do is throw a punch, and it may hurt you. All he has to do is throw a punch, and his long ass arms, he's like Dalsim and shit. Yoga flame, yoga. He has long ass arms and shit, so it's hard to intercept that fortress and get on the inside to rough him up. And then when you do, he kind of clinches. So he's a difficult fighter to beat. He does have experience. He does bring power. His frame is huge, so it's just hard to exploit that for a lot of these fighters. They don't have really any of the advantages in terms of size, arm length, experience. Most fighters that fight him don't have any of those going into the fight. So I'd be anxious to see how Vladimir looked against a Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury. And the reason I throw those names out there, not saying that they guaranteed will beat him, but at the very least, one of those dudes may have longer arms than him. They're actually both taller than him, I believe. I think Deontay Wilder is 6'7", and Fury might be like 6'9". So I didn't do any research, so don't try to Google it and tell, oh, Ego, you don't know what you're talking about, you're wrong. Like, I'm not saying that their arms are longer than him, but I think they may be just based on their height. So I would be really anxious to see one of them dudes, because they might be able to connect from a longer range than someone like Povetkin, who is 6'2" and struggling to get on the inside. Plus, I told you in my prediction video, which I was actually right on both fights, the Miguel Cotto as well as the Povetkin fight. He doesn't really bring the experience to tackle a guy like Klitschko. Yeah, he can land like a punch that just debilitates Klitschko and take him out. It's happened, especially in the heavyweight division. But like I said in my prediction video, I just didn't see it happening. But I'd be anxious to see a Klitschko versus one of those taller dudes, just to see how he can. I don't know, man, how he deals with Deontay Wilder's power. Deontay Wilder throws wide and sloppy sometimes too, but shit, all he has to do is connect one of them haymakers, and we may have a different fight on our hands. But as far as the Povetkin and Klitschko fight, it was really, really rather boring. It was a tongue twister. Just kind of boring, a lot of clinching. I don't like the ref's handling, and the ref like being the middle man. He didn't really do much. And there's a lot of times where I don't like much ref interaction. Like if the guys are fighting, they're fighting their way out and stuff like that. Shit, let them fight. Stop breaking them up. Stop separating them. But then there's also an opposite to that spectrum, and that was this fight. And that's where the ref doesn't do absolutely shit. And there's flagrant, egregious things happening time and time and time again. And although he did finally take a point away from Klitschko, it was kind of like too far, too little, too late kind of thing. Povetkin was obviously discouraged. He had probably, I think by the time he took the point, he had already been knocked down like 4 times. So it was a little bit too late. And again, it was just not an interesting fight to watch and unfold. So as far as the Klitschko fight, wasn't impressed with Klitschko's performance, and I damn sure wasn't impressed with Povetkin. The thing that did impress me about Povetkin was his heart. I give him that. Going up against a seasoned, bigger fighter, he did show heart. He never really gave up 100%, even though he was getting tagged and bested. He didn't just put his hands up and do the Victor Ortiz dance. You know what I mean? So props to Povetkin from that. He can bounce back. If your name is not Vladimir, Klitschko, or Vitaly, then I think he can make good fights at heavyweight. But the heavyweight division as a whole, man, is very dismal. And we don't have the same type of champions, I feel. Klitschko's, they've been dominant for so long. And one of the things that is really frustrating is the Klitschko's are dominant, but they're dominant for a different reason. Well, actually, I don't want to lump them both up, because I feel Vitaly's better. Vladimir, let's say him. I think he hasn't lost in 9 years. He's dominant, but I don't see pound for pound dominance. And I feel like he's dominant for a different reason. Like if you look at other people, other fighters on the pound for pound list, like Mayweather, obviously the number one pound for pound guy, he's fighting people he's he's like 10 years older, 13 years older. They're naturally bigger than him. They're probably bigger punchers than him. They may bring momentum or an undefeated record to the category or to the table, and he's making it look like easy work. Then you have Vladimir Klitschko, who's been dominant, and he was dominant in this fight, but he looked sloppy. He did a lot of clinching, and people like hassle fighters like Mayweather, saying, "Oh, gay runner. He's a runner. He hits and holds, hits and holds." But name one Mayweather fight that looks so sloppy as this Povetkin and Klitschko fight. Now, granted, I understand these dudes are bigger. They're not going to have the same agility or mobility as a lighter fighter. But in the heavyweight division, we've seen people who can throw a powerful punch, Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, and also had better movement. They're big giants like Lennox Lewis. He was 1 inch shorter than Vladimir Klitschko, but I feel like his boxing ability was better. He didn't hold after every shot he threw. I don't know. It's just like a different ball game. And when you look at other pound for pound greats, like I said, Floyd Mayweather, and look at him skill for skill and what he does to his opponents, who a lot of them are bigger than him or whatever the situation is, it's amazing. And then you look at Vladimir, I feel like a lot of his wins are coming from sheer size. It's just hard to get on the inside because he's bigger than everybody. You know what I mean? Versus Mayweather. Mayweather's smaller than most of the people he's fought in recent memory. I mean, who was bigger? Victor Ortiz was bigger than him. I would say Shane Mosley's bigger than him. Canelo's definitely bigger than him. Robert Guerrero looked bigger than him. And he's still making it look like easy work. Versus Vladimir Klitschko, he's just, I think, more or less, not from skill for skill, he's just shitting on these people, but he's just so big and he knows veteran tricks and that kind of stuff. So I think it's a different ball game. But if you put like Mayweather's skill sets or like a Yadimo Rigondeaux skill set into the frame of somebody who was 6'4", 6'5", I think they would blast Vladimir out of the water. You know what I mean? If they had like equal size and power to fuck with him. Like, you know what I mean? Obviously, you can't put Rigondeaux in there with Vladimir Klitschko right now. You know what I mean? Because they're in like the 100-pound differences or like 120-pound differences in weight. But I'm talking about the actual skill set of boxing and what they bring to the table. If it was more equivalent or more comparable, I think Vladimir would have severe problems. So let me know what you guys think. Vladimir Klitschko, did you like the Povetkin fight? Was it boring? Was it great? Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.